You don't relapse because you are weak. You relapse because your brain has become addicted to the cycle of guilt. Every time you fail, you make a desperate emotional promise to yourself that tomorrow will be different. That promise gives you a cheap, unearned spike of hope. And that is the exact trap. You are living a daily defeat, not because you lack discipline, but because your subconscious has learned to love the emotional roller coaster of falling down and picking yourself back up. This isn't a motivational speech, and we aren't going to talk about willpower. This is a clinical deconstruction of your self-sabotage and the systematic protocol to break this neurological feedback loop permanently. To understand why you keep returning to the habits that destroy you, we have to expose the hidden mechanics of the relapse guilt loop. Most people think the reward of a bad habit happens during the act itself, the scrolling, the binging, the indulgence. But neurobiology tells a much more sinister story. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine that seeks chemical equilibrium. When you give in to a destructive habit, it is immediately followed by a sharp drop in dopamine. This triggers an intense wave of guilt, shame, and self-loathing. To your conscious mind, this emotional pain feels like proof that you care. But to your subconscious, this intense emotional spike is just another heavy hit of neurochemical stimulation. Then comes the fatal pivot, the hope loop. To escape the crushing weight of the guilt, your brain forces you to make a grand vow. You swear off the habit forever. You plan a radical new routine. In that exact moment of swearing to change, your brain releases a massive wave of anticipatory dopamine. You feel relieved. You feel clean. You get the psychological reward of being a changed person without actually changing anything. You have turned your own shame into a dopamine simulator. You crash. You feel guilt. You make a promise. You feel hope. And then, having satisfied the brain's craving for an emotional spike, you slide right back into the behavior. You are not trying to succeed. You are addicted to the cheap drama of trying to fix yourself. Breaking a chemical loop this deeply entrenched requires that you strip away the emotion and replace it with clinical execution. You must enter a protocol designed to starve the brain of both the pleasure of the vice and the pleasure of the apology. We call this behavioral desaturation. It is built on 3 unyielding phases. Phase 1, the dopamine post-mortem. The moment you feel the urge to relapse, your brain is running a highly persuasive script. It tells you that the indulgence will feel incredible, that you need it to relax, or that just this once won't hurt. You must systematically ruin the lie before you execute the habit. Take a notebook and write down the exact sequence of events that happens after the vice. Write out the brain fog, the immediate regret, the fractured focus, and the inevitable self-loathing. Read this post-mortem aloud while you are experiencing the craving. You are forcing your prefrontal cortex to confront the actual, unedited cost of the behavior, stripping away the romanticized illusion your addiction is trying to paint. Phase 2, radical emotional flattening. If you do fail, you must eliminate the theatrical apology, the grand vows, the self-flagellation, and the dramatic promises of starting fresh on Monday. Stop right now. When you scramble your progress, accept it with absolute, cold neutrality. Do not beat yourself up. Do not promise to do better. Treat the relapse like a machine that minorly malfunctioned. By refusing to engage in the emotional drama of guilt and hypercorrection, you deny your subconscious the secondary dopamine hit of the hope loop. When failure becomes boring, flat, and devoid of emotional stimulation, your brain stops treating the relapse cycle as a viable source of chemical rewards. Phase 3. The micro-intervention addictions and deep-seated bad habits rely entirely on momentum. They exist in an automated sequence of movements. Your hand reaching for the phone, your fingers typing the URL, your body walking to the kitchen. You must insert a physical circuit breaker into the sequence. The moment you realize you are entering the relapse vector, you must execute a non-negotiable 5-minute pause. You don't have to fight the urge. You just have to delay it. Sit still, set a timer, and do nothing for 300 seconds. This micro-intervention breaks the automated neurological script. It forces your brain out of its subconscious loop and returns control to your conscious mind, giving you the critical margin of safety needed to walk away. Your worst habits thrive in the dark, emotional spaces of your mind. They rely on your shame to keep the wheel turning, using your own promises of a better tomorrow to fuel another cycle of defeat today. The cycle only continues if you keep playing your role in the drama. Stop mourning your failures. Stop romanticizing your future. Deal exclusively with the reality of your current actions, second by second, choice by choice. If you are ready to deconstruct the loop and alter your core, subscribe. The engineering begins.